quick show of hands. How many people believe that the sun revolves around the earth? How many people believe the earth revolves around the sun? What's he playing at? Everyone knows that the earth revolves around the sun. Do they? I'm going to bet in this room there are no more than 3 people who could give me a proof that they think proves that the earth revolves around the sun. And I got news for those 3 people. That proof doesn't mean what you think it does. The fact of the matter is, we don't know. We believe. We believe because we were told by our teachers, or because we read it in a book which we believe was written by a scientist. That's not knowledge, that's belief. Let's talk about scientists, shall we? It used to be that scientists would tell us that the entire universe was made up of 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Ancients had a 5th element, spirit, but they obviously didn't understand what was really going on, right? Of course, when alchemists tried to make gold out of base metals, they tried to get the spirit right. I don't understand that. But then, scientists said, okay, we were a little bit off. Everything is made up of molecules, and that's as small as it gets. At least they said that for a while. And then, oh, it's atoms. The smallest fundamental unit is an atom. Until Rutherford did an experiment and discovered that it got a lot smaller than that and found electrons and protons and neutrons. That was it. That was ironclad. That's where we stopped. And then the cyclotrons started to split all that stuff into all sorts of different particles, and we had quarks. And now, the God particle. Isn't it amazing? Scientists absolutely knew, and we knew that they knew, but they told you something different every single year. And it's going to be different next year, maybe even tomorrow. Now, we believe the scientists, right? If you believe the scientists, you're intelligent. Because after all, Bill Nye had 3 seasons on television and a bow tie. And that trumps the priests, who have 1,500 or 6,000 years and a yarmulke. But they're consistent. That's not good enough for us. We don't believe them. We believe the people who keep changing the story. What do we know? Now, let's think a little bit more about these studies we have. First of all, a study came out in the 80s which reported that coffee drinking caused pancreatic cancer. But before you give up your Starbucks cards, I had a chance to look at that study. And you know what? They did it backwards. They didn't understand cause and effect. And what they actually proved was cancer of the pancreas caused coffee drinking. Not that surprising. A lot of medical studies are done wrong. And in 1971, at the American Association of Statistical Scientists, they gave the attendees, the premier people in the field, a basic, very simple statistical test. The vast majority of them flunked. These are the experts. But it doesn't really matter. Any of you read the recent results about flossing? The federal government is not allowed by law, to recommend something which is not backed up by serious studies. There isn't a single serious study of flossing. They're breaking the rules. You know, the Delaney Clause says they cannot put an additive in your food if it's been shown in any way to cause cancer. Every single sugar substitute causes cancer. And the government knew it when they allowed the stuff to go through. They'll break the law for you. Now, being fair, the studies that showed that sugar wasn't that bad were manipulated studies, manipulated by the sugar industry. They can manipulate studies? I thought thought science was supposed to be ironclad, solid, believable. After all, we're trusting them as opposed to those stupid priests. It's not. The studies are manipulative. That's scary too. I get more and more scared. You know, the experts go in the courtroom and they tell you that the DNA evidence proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. It doesn't. There's nothing harder to keep from getting contaminated than new DNA evidence. Fingerprints, the analysis is usually flawed, and they can find 5 or 6 people, despite what you've been told. They get you to believe it, but it's going to change, and it's not right. Do you know that in the 40s and 50s, doctors recommended smoking to deal with depression and emotional issues and weight loss? In the 60s, we realized they caused cancer, which was permanent damage from them, and you never heal. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let's fast forward to today. Now we know the problems go away in 2 or 3 years. Who do we trust? What do we believe? If one person in 25 goes to jail misconvicted because of scientific evidence, if doctors recommend cigarettes and then take it back, if statisticians can't do their own statistical work, what is it we really want to believe? How do we handle this? My friends, I'd like to tie this up and give you a rainbow to work with. There's a lot more lectures in this series to go, and I can't do it, but let me leave you with this. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, and yeah, you pour yourself that cup of coffee, go out your window and look in the east. Now, the sun doesn't revolve around the earth, and the earth doesn't revolve around the sun. They both revolve around a common core, so either answer was scientifically wrong. What do I know? But when you look in the east, I promise you, you will see the sun. Mr. Toastmaster.